Hi guys, it's Santana, aka Tana's Book Diary, and I'm back with another video. Yes, I have face paint on. We were doing a trial run for work for one of our events, so I was a model. Yes, applause. Okay, based off the title of today's video, I will be discussing some summerween book recommendations you should be reading. We still have a full month of summer left. As much as the companies like Dunkin' and all the stores and places want to convince us that fall is literally around the corner, we still have a whole month, 30 days before it is fall. So here is some books I think you guys should read leading up to spooky season, but they still kind of have that summer vibe. Some of them were audiobooks or I read on my Kindle, and then I have some of the physicals with me. So I will be just giving you guys all the recs, and let's get into it. The first one is by S.A. Cosby, King of Ashes. I will always recommend this book. I will always recommend him. He's just an amazing author. I enjoyed this book a lot. I buddy read this with my friend Haley. Buddy read in quotes because we both ate it up so fast that we didn't even really get a chance to like send anybody anything. We just had a FaceTime afterwards debriefing it, and it was so much to unpack. This is about 3 siblings in rural Virginia. One of the siblings, Roman Carruthers, lives in Atlanta. He's a money management guy. You know, that is all terms for something shady. You know what I mean? Money management for anyone and everyone. And so he finds out that his father is in the hospital after a hit and run accident where he was specifically targeted because his brother Dante got in with the wrong people. And we just follow Roman as he comes back home after years of being away. We kind of find out he uncovers some things about his father, who owns a crematory business. And it just is a wild ride. It is action thriller for sure, with a little bit of romance, but just enough gore as well to make it like, ooh, a little scary. So this is the perfect summerween book, honestly. So that's my first rec. On to the next one. I'm going to go a completely different genre a little bit, which is The Reformatory by Tanner Dew. I read this during the fall, but I think it has that summerween feeling of like it's a little eerie, but it takes place in Florida, which is always warm and hot, so you know, it kind of gives that summer vibe nonetheless. But it's a historical fiction horror thriller, like it's a whole combination of things. It takes place in the 60s. We follow a young boy. His name is Robbie. He's 12. He gets sent to this reformatory school for boys in Florida because he defends his sister from a white boy who harasses her. So because he kicked that white boy, he got sent to the reformatory school for 6 months. And when he gets there, he can see haints or spirits of other boys who were once at the reformatory. He can't tell who is real and who is a haint. So we follow that. It's just like the horrors of racism and how these reformatory schools for boys were very toxic, very mentally and physically abusive, and just overall inhumane. So this book I would highly recommend reading if you haven't. Sometime this year, before the year ends, you have to read this. Next book recommendation is Burning Down Master's House by Clay Kane. This is a historical fiction, horror, revenge based book. This is about 4 to 5 enslaved people, and we follow their journey through seeking vengeance on their masters and their property and their home and all that stuff, right? It's so good because they're killing their oppressors, and I'm eating it up. Like, you know that scene in Sinners where smoke just airs out on that guy, the Klansman, who initially was gonna actually kill them instead, but the vampires got to them first. So that was so fulfilling to see, because usually in movies we see the whole mercy thing, and not to sound like you know, Cobra Kai or anything. What's his name? I don't even know. The older white guy who was like the sensei, when he was like, no mercy, like no mercy. I'm no mercy on these people who enslaved and oppressed and abused my people. No mercy on anyone who has any relations to them. The camera's about to die. Let me change the battery. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, no mercy, period, on anyone who had any correlation, defends slavery, like all of that. I don't care about that. And so this book, it just is our deepest desires, but also some actual realities. These were based off of true stories. So like the Nat Turner Rebellion and the slave revolt in Virginia, when, you know, they poisoned their masters, like all of that, like this is based off that. So it's kind of a little bit of a retelling slash like based off of true story things, you know. But yeah, we follow Luke and Henry, who are two enslaved individuals who are from kind of two different spectrums of slavery, where like Henry is from, or you know, was from initially Haiti, got brought over to Virginia, if I'm correct, and he still has his accent. He kind of knows his roots compared to like everyone else who had been removed for decades at that point. And then Luke, who is of a lighter complexion, who works in the house directly with the master's son, he has a different experience as well. He's a little more educated. He knows how to read and write, and he teaches the others. And we kind of see their relationship form into something that was platonic, then it becomes romantic, and then they become a power couple basically when they go against their master and his family. And then each chapter is based off someone else, and then they all kind of intertwine at the end. So it was really good. It was on Kindle Unlimited. I read it. It was like less than 200 pages or less than 250 pages. Such a good read. Just so sweet with vengeance, honestly. So I would highly recommend that book. It is a little gory. It is very, very graphic in all aspects of graphic, violent and sexually and all the things. But it was a great read. I really, really recommend it if you haven't read it already. Then the next book is also on Kindle Unlimited. It's called The Perfect Sisters by Desiree, also known as Granger. If you've read like the Maggie Gray series, The Perfect Sisters is like a thriller mystery with romance kind of as the subplot. It follows a women-led cult in Atlanta, and we specifically follow 3 women who escaped the cult. And yeah, it's wild. It's a wild story. It's a long story. It's like 400 pages, but it's so good. And there's a sequel, so it is a series. And yeah, it's an acquired taste. You kind of have to be into it, but once you're in, it's insane. Like, all black women led cult in Atlanta, and then they escape, and so they're like engaging in like Atlanta culture for the first time, and they're meeting men, fine men. They're going to parties. They're forming their own thoughts and realizing like what they've been taught and what they've been kind of force fed to believe is true is not true. You know, being scared of the outside world and not trusting men and not trusting people. Like, we were just conditioned to believe that. And so it's a crazy journey. It's so funny. Desiree / Granger has this humor to her that I eat it up every time. So that's a good thriller, sisterhood, cult like story. The next one is, I actually have it right here, I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me by Jameson Shea. I read this about a year or so back. This takes place in Paris, France. We follow, what's her name? We follow Laure. She is one of the only black women in her ballet company, and she wants to become the prima ballerina, the top ballet dancer in the company. And she's great. She has everything they desire in a lead dancer, but she is Black and she is also American, so that is like 2 strikes against her. And it's like no matter how much she practices, how hard she goes in the auditions, and how much she has proved herself over time, they still don't really give her the time of day. So she goes to the catacombs in Paris, as one does, I guess, strikes up a deal, does a blood offering, and she ultimately gets her wish of being lead dancer. But when she gets that wish, things don't go as planned. And like, you know, the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. Like, you ask for it and you're gonna get exactly that and then some. And she just ends up really turning into a monster of a sort. And so it's a little bit of body horror. It is very gory and a lot of mentions of blood and self-harm and, you know, body dysmorphia, because it's about, you know, being a ballerina and like they have to be a certain weight and look a certain way. And, you know, being Black already, you know, genetically things aren't made up the same as everyone else. And yeah, it's just so many different things. I enjoyed this book. There is a sequel to this. I have not picked it up, but this was really, really good, and I think a great summerween read. Okay, my last 2 is Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis. This is a young adult thriller romance. It's also super fantasy driven, so it's like werewolves and vampires. I think that this book mainly though focuses on it focuses mainly on werewolves. Vampires. I think the sequel will be more focused on the werewolf, because it's like trying to promote it as like a love triangle in this book, but I really feel like it was like I felt like it wasn't a love triangle. I think the sequel will be more love triangle-esque. Brittany S. Lewis is one of my go-to authors as well. I have her other 2 books, The Dark Place, and it's another one up here that I have of hers, but this, she said her inspiration was Bonnie Bennett from Vampire Diaries, but like giving her that platform to be the lead and to have the romance like with Damon. So this was really good. I got like the sprayed edges version. It's YA down, so nothing graphic, nothing crazy, but it's super cozy, dark, kind of spooky romance. So I think that this is a cool summer read, and it starts, she's in college, so it's like the start of the semester, so kind of perfect timing. My last recommendation is a book I have not read yet, but I felt like it would be perfect to add, which is Die For Me by Charlene Obobi. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. I have read her other book, Friends to Lovers, or Best Friends to Lovers, something, I cannot remember the title. I'll put it on the screen. But this one I picked up recently, and I'm excited for this one because it's a vampire romance. Like the cover itself is honestly what got me, but it's a vampire romance. I had just seen Taryn on YouTube talking about this and doing like a book review, and she was hyping it up so much. So I'm excited. I am not like a big vampire person, as I reference Vampire Diaries and Sinners in this one video, but I'm not like, oh, gung-ho about vampires, but I love it when it's Black people in it, so I'm excited. It says, the synopsis on the back says, Sean's not in the market for love, the only female, let alone Black, interventional cardiologist at her hospital. She's watched too many of her male colleagues divorce their first wives for younger models. Then she meets Julian, brooding, beautiful, and 11 years her junior. In short, a bad idea. Still, she finds herself unable to resist their undeniable chemistry. She even starts fantasizing about him in dreams that feel altogether too real. They also have a lot in common despite their age gap, so to hell with them. If men can date younger, why can't she? But the more Sean gets to know him, the more impossible Julian seems. He has a depth to him that's beyond his years, and sometimes there's a look in his eyes that's less than human and leaves her feeling more like prey. Plus, Sean's been exhibiting odd symptoms: memory lapse, lack of restraint, persistent exhaustion that all trace back to Julian, making her feel more than a little afraid. Who or what is she falling irrecoverably? This is one of the words I be struggling with. Irrecoverably in love with. Anyways, I'm excited for this. Romance, age gap, vampire. Perfect summer read, I think. And I haven't really been in my romance bag, so I feel like adding a little fantasy to it will make it more interesting. But yeah, that was all my books for summerween that I think you guys should read. I think that, you know, it adds a little spice to the summer reads, because sometimes the beach reads, they don't be doing much. And especially when you're not going to the beach. Like, personally, I've realized I am a mood reader, but I also like when the setting kind of matches what's going on. And I don't want to read a beach read when I'm not at the beach, because now I'm pissed that I'm not at the beach. So I hope you guys enjoy my recs. Let me know if you've read any of these books down below, or if you plan to add any to your TBR. I am so appreciative of every one of you who has watched, subscribed, and commented on my videos. We are at 405 subscribers, which is insane. I am coming up on a year, if not already at the year mark, for being, you know, on YouTube and creating this book account. So that's so crazy to me how fast a year has gone, and I can't wait to continue posting more for you guys. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.